a company that does not get enough credit for the ingredient profiles that they bring to the market. What's happening, guys? Hope your day is going well. Today we're going to review Chaos Cruise. Bring the Chaos Extreme Pre-Workout version 2. We're going to go over the ingredients so you know what you put in your body. Go over the effects on this bad boy. If you're new to the channel, you like stuff like that, hit the subscribe button. Love to have you along for the ride. So first, we'll get the flavor out of the way. Grape bubblegum. It was good. That's all I'm going to say. It wasn't gross. It was not fantastic. But for a Stem Junkie Pre, it was good.
Enough said.
So jumping right into the ingredient profile, put it right in front of me. We have 25 servings on this thing, not bad. One scoop's supposed to be 13 grams, and it's off. You got to throw this thing on a scale. One packed flat level scoop is like 11.5 grams. So throw it on a scale to be exact. This is not a beginner pre-workout. Letting you know that now. So don't go willy-nilly on getting some big giant heaping scoop on this sucker before you test your tolerance. So we have L-citrulline, 4 grams, vasodilation, pumps, energy production because it's going to increase oxygen and nutrient delivery to the muscle cells, and it helps buffer some metabolites, especially ammonia that might build up in the muscles so you can push out more reps and more sets. Beta-alanine at 3.2 grams, the efficacious dose. You need to be saturated with this in order to have the studied effects on this thing, but it's going to give you the pins, needles, the itching, the scratching. This buffers hydrogen by turning into carnosine. I did an article on this on my website. I'll put the link in the description if you want to go read in detail on this thing, but it's going to allow you to push out more reps, more sets in the gym with some more endurance and more power output. Then we have some caffeine anhydrous at 300 milligrams, not a bad dose. This is going to block adenosine, so this attaches to the adenosine receptors, keeps adenosine away from that tired, groggy feeling that adenosine can give us when it attaches to those receptors. Keeps you elevated, enhances brain function, brain-derived nootropic factor. It enhances serotonin, enhances GABA, all kinds of different things to a level. That's why when we take caffeine, we feel good and we have that energy at the same time. Then we have an extra at 300 milligrams. This is a fantastic ingredient. I love this ingredient. This increases attention network function in the brain, which is the brain's ability to devote itself to a specific task. So it gives you that zoned in, dialed in focus, and it couples really well with caffeine, and it's long hitting. So this has like a 4 to 5 hour lifespan. Then we have Kapuwasu. Kapuwasu extract. And this is 250 milligrams. Now this ingredient here is considered the food for the gods. And it contains flavonoids, vitamin C, some B vitamins, some fatty acids, omega-3s, some calcium, some selenium, quite a few different ingredients. It helps with anti-inflammatory benefits, oxidative stress, and it's supposed to help with cognitive function as well. And it's said to have caffeine-like effects to it without caffeine in it, and it's supposed to enhance and boost alertness as well. So, good ingredient, never taken it on its own. Juglans reishi leaf, 200 milligrams. We've got to talk about this one here. So we have the natural form of DMHA here, and then we have, of course, the synthetic form. Natural forms of DMHA are more expensive. And to me, they're higher quality and they deliver a smoother experience because Juglans and walnut, English walnut extract, if you're good sources of it, they're going to have the DMHA in there. We'll talk about that. But they also have some strong antioxidants like gallic acid, L-agate acid. They have some flavonoids, and then they have some carotenoids in it, which are strong antioxidants for inflammation purposes and immunity purposes. So you get kind of like a health hit when you have an ingredient like this in there rather than a straight DMHA hitter. And then you're also going to get the DMHA effects, which DMHA blocks the TAR1, TAR2 receptors. It's also a MAO inhibitor, so it's going to enhance dopamine, epinephrine, and norepinephrine and keep them elevated for a long period of time. It also has a stimulatory effect on the central nervous system to keep you going in the gym. So hope that helps with a little bit of information there. Don't want to go too long. L-theanine, 150 milligrams. This blocks the excitability neurotransmitter glutamate from the NMDA receptors. So it's an NMDA receptor agonist. And when it does this, it increases GABA. And this also decreases the firing of nerve impulses in the brain. So it kind of slows the thought process down. Also increases alpha brain waves, which gives you that dial back alertness type feeling. Some people like it, some people don't. You really don't feel it in this thing because it's a high stem pre. It actually belongs in there in my opinion. Then we have some natural higenamine in here from lotus leaf extract, the Limbo Nicifera at 100 milligrams. So higenamine is a natural stimulant and also very low-end stimulant. Doesn't really give a big giant kick, but has some fat-burning properties in it as well, and some vasodilation and a few other things because it is a beta-2 agonist receptor modulator. So it affects the beta-2 receptors in the body, which actually increases epinephrine and norepinephrine, also some energy and some fat burning. But also this ingredient as a whole, which I like about this company, is they're looking for ways to implement these hard-hitting fat burners and stimulants and combine them in, but they're also implementing these ingredients that have these ingredients in it with some benefit effects, like as far as some health benefit effects. Like this is an antidiuretic, it's an antidepressant, it's an anti-inflammatory. So it's got a bunch of different properties in it on its own because it's got catechins, epicatechins, procyanogens in it, which are going to help with cyclic AMP, cyclic GMP, which is smooth muscle relaxing. It's going to help release carbohydrates for energy and fat for energy. And this has a good diuretic effect to it as far as lotus leaf. So you're going to notice on this thing before, just in case I forget to say it, you're going to be thirsty after this and you're going to pee a lot on this thing. So that's going to get rid of a lot of water that you're going to be holding on to. So jumping into the next ingredient here, we got vitamin B3, which is niacin at 22 milligrams. This is going to add to some of the beta-alanine kick. It's not really a big hit here, but this helps with ROS generation, and it helps with like antioxidant defenses in the blood vessels. And then it also helps with endothelial dysfunction. So it's a good ingredient to have in this because we're going to get some vasodilation in here. It's going to help some relaxation in the blood vessels for some more dilation with this low amount of L-citrulline in here, hopefully to give us some stronger pumps in a Stim Junkie type pre-workout. Then we have some Biopremin at 5 milligrams. This is to bring it all together in the digestive system. Then we have some B12 here at 11 milligrams. This can help with some energy. This also is a cofactor to dopamine and norepinephrine in the brain for cognitive function and focus. So they're just dialing in everything in here to actually enhance the effects, giving you some natural ingredients in here, along with some hard-hitting ingredients that are in here as well, and just trying to give you an experience. So I really appreciate them. So Chaos Crew, Bring the Chaos Extreme Pre-Workout version 2. How did it do? Can I slow down a little bit? Try to get through the ingredient profile, give you guys as much information as I can, as quick as I can, and then get into this effects, because a lot of people want to know the effects on this thing. I'm going to tell you right now, this pre-workout here is a hard hitter, just like I said. You're going to notice strength increases in the gym. You're going to notice endurance, and you're going to notice oxygen uptake. So this has some ingredients in here that help with the bronchodilation for the lungs to increase oxygen uptake. This is a hard hitter in the gym. If you're looking for a pre-workout in your Stim Junkie for extra strength, extra endurance, and power in the gym, this is one to consider. Now, how this thing comes in, you take the 13 grams and the beta-alanine comes in between that 10-15 minute mark, and it's a medium to medium high type hit for me. That's how it was. And it lasts for about 30 minutes is when you feel it totally as it's kind of fading away. And I did feel it kind of come in like an hour later and then kind of disappear. So it kind of hangs in the background a little bit. You know, beta-alanine, we're all going to react a little different to it. Energy and focus come in and drop in right around that 15 to 20 minute mark. And it's actually a fast builder, because from that point, from when you notice it, the energy comes, you come in with this dialed in cognitive function and hit with this close to medium high cognition, but kind of a clear-headed. And that an extra actually allows you to task drive and devote yourself. So it takes a lot of the haziness that you might get from DMHA and some of these like nootropic hitters, and allows like a dialed in clear-headed feeling on what you're actually doing at the time. So I like that they put the extra in there. They didn't have it in their previous version. I don't think they did, but it really kind of comes together very well. And by 30-35 minutes, you are pretty much ready to go. You got a little tiny bit of an underlying anxious feeling because it will elevate the heart rate a little bit, but not much. It's a very smooth delivery, but high end kick. Like I said in the beginning, not for beginners, in my opinion. This hits, and it hits hard, and that stimulant effect put it this way, I take this stuff all the time, and my eye was twitching on this thing. Like hours later, I had this little twitch in my eye, and that's because it hits the central nervous system really good. But you don't feel it, and that's the tricky thing. That's a nice thing about this, actually. I don't say tricky thing. The nice thing, there's so many ingredients in here that allow some health benefits along with these hard-hitting stim hitters that you dial off of it very well. You won't want to eat on this thing. I'd say I took this 3 times. One time, I felt a little crashing effect on that 4 to 5 hour mark, and I wouldn't say it's crashing. I was hungry and my body was dialing down, and I basically wasted all my energy about 4 hours after taking this from that workout that I did, 30 minutes after I took this thing. And I just basically was lacking energy, and my body was still stemmed. It was still up, but it was kind of like that. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. You kind of get that draw it back feeling, like where you just kind of your energy feels like it's dropping. And it was the switch over from the downgrade from the nootropic and stim hit about 4 hours after taking this. But it only happened once. The other 2 times I was eating, I ate afterwards, had just a protein shake, just put some energy in me, and it was smooth, like dialed down off of this thing very, very well. And it sticks with you. This thing's going to last about 4 to 5 hours with the energy and the focus, and you'll feel it still a couple hours after that. So in my opinion, you need to take this pre-workout 8 hours before you go to bed to be safe, so you get a good night's sleep, because that's all a part about our recovery and our training and building muscle, is making sure we get a good night's sleep. So time this thing right as far as so you can dial down off of it really well. The stimulation hit is, you got the anxiousness and the focus come in and really, really peak, I'd say about 45, 50 minutes, but it feels like it's peaked around 35 minutes. You don't notice, unless you're super dialed into yourself like me, that it's actually even increasing in energy at that, from that 35 to 45, 50 minutes, but it's there. It does increase, and it carries you through a blasted workout. And what's nice is the way this thing hits you in the head with that medium to medium high nootropic hit and the dialed in focus. You're not running around like crazy like a chicken with your head cut off in the gym, but you have this energy and you have this dialed in feeling where you're just going from set to set and knocking out rep after rep with a super nice dialed in mind muscle connection and this back underlying physical energy that just sticks with you for a good hour and a half during your training if you don't feed before, or you don't take any kind of carbohydrates or anything during your workout, because you're gonna blast all the energy out of your muscles on this thing. It's a hard hitter. It was fun to train on this thing, and I'm going to take a break though, because that eye twitching thing got to me on the 3rd day. Pumps on this thing. Pumps are tight. Surprisingly enough, they are nice, tight pumps, and they last for a long period of time. So there's no cell swelling on this thing. The vascularity was increased a little bit from my norm, but it wasn't intense. This thing just drove me through the workout, just knocking out sets. I had the strength from the beginning and the strength at the end, an hour and a half. Even in a weakened state, I was still able to push weight that I was pushing in the very beginning of the workout. So fantastic delivery as far as strength and endurance on this thing. And like I said, but the only thing is, it's a hard hitter. I just want to make that clear. This is not for a beginner to take a full scoop of this thing. And I don't even know how you would do off of a half a scoop, because this thing, it just doesn't feel hard, but it's hard because the way it hits in the head and the physical part of it's like this medium high physical energy kick, but in the head you're dialed down a bit and focused and really dialed into your workout, that it just doesn't feel like a stim junkie crazy running around type experience. It is just like this kind of like dialed down in the zone, just getting ready and dialed in with a nice positive drive. A really good feeling comes upon you around 25 minutes in, 30 minutes in, as far as that euphoric, happy type feeling. But on this particular one, the Juglins does not hit to a dancing, happy feeling. It's more of a sense of well-being for me. And it dials you in to where it's almost like you're on the teeter part of being like happy. You're glad to be there. You feel well, but then you can be physical, and you can be mad dog in the gym. So you can be like mad dog in the gym, the weights and everything. So it dials you down to that, I always call it that hooligan type mentality in the gym. You can throw weights around and stuff like that. So very smooth, very good delivery as far as a bodybuilding pre for someone that just wants to crush it. You don't want to dance around and joke around in the gym. You just want to get shit done and knock out a really freaking good workout and tear some muscle down. So I hope that was a good enough review. Trying to deliver the experience the best way I can. Kind of still on this thing right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you did, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. It helps the channel. This is Chaos Crew. Bring the Chaos Extreme Pre-Workout version 2. I'm going to get going. We'll see you guys next time on the channel.